With the idea of subculture and any sense of an underground scene completely fading due to social media's accelerationist mentality, we find an excessive abundance of performative clothing, or in cooler words, aesthetics, or even more cracked, core. We love some good core, man. We gotta make new cores publicly tradable. Yeah, I want to be able to invest in something like this, or if something like this pops up, I want to be able to short it. But really, these cores and these aesthetics kind of are the real visual archive of a contemporary era, with things like TikTok and Instagram Reels being the modern history book. Like this stuff right here, like you are not a cowboy. The way you sub for oat milk. Like you have one job. I find the idea of quiet luxury to be, deliberately breaking its only rule, which was, wasn't the whole point to shut up about it and keep this low key? You guys are missing the fucking point. But to find the silver lining in all this mess, I still think that there's a lot of value in the idea of there being a wider array of outlets of which people can find ways to express themselves, compared to what might have been the spread 10 years ago. So, it is kind of cute that there are more costumes to pick from. So, to get everyone up to speed, here are modern aesthetics explained in 15 minutes.
Oh, God.
So, streetwear has taken multiple forms throughout the years, with there being two very popular sister forms currently. But to get to where we are now, I gotta take it back a couple years. So, it's the 80s. Let's finally flesh out the obvious answer behind the idea of why is it called streetwear? Okay, so yeah, it is in the name. I'm not gonna lie. It is what people were wearing in the streets of a city, as opposed to what the runways were dictating. Definitely a more organic and grassroots way of developing a personal style based in a lifestyle. The clothes were centered around the cultural flavors at the time. Like at the beginning, it was thriving on the California surfing and skate scene. Brands like Stussy were really the blueprint of what was coming in the future. And fast forwarding to today, where streetwear and high fashion are a lot more intertwined and more so than ever, I still think that there are original parts of the blueprint that are still there, but have evolved due to the nature of how culture operates today. The first format of these two is a modern and eclectic interpretation of that classic streetwear format. I'm just gonna coin it as modern streetwear. This idea is gonna change over time, but right now, this is kind of the current flavor of the month, where it truly leans into that idea of a hybrid between streetwear and high fashion, consisting of a lot of the classic streetwear elements like sneakers, graphic tees, and oversized proportions, but now blended with a lot of modern elements like hyper-accessorizing, premium materials, and wabi-sabi layering, which definitely adds a lot of dimension to this type of style. You have a lot of room to really just make it your own, as opposed to just following a template from a select set of brands. Like this Labubu trend right now, right? This is really just what wearing a Supreme hat in the 2010s felt like. But at the same time, right, this right here, what does this even say about you? Okay, real quick, lighthearted reality check. What the f does the Labubu say about you? What is the personal commentary here? Guys, just really the sister format to this idea is the aesthetic coined as smart streetwear, also called mature streetwear, also called ALD store loitering, but this consisting of a more minimal and classic aesthetic with pieces like button-down shirts, trousers, and even loafers, with the streetwear elements still being sprinkled in there like graphics and hats. Some might say it's when a person gets into fashion through streetwear and then they eventually grow up into finding classic pieces, and others might say it's people that are into minimalism that just got bored. People that found a good, tasteful, minimal palette. They look good in their clothes, good piece selection, very nuanced, very tasteful. But then after all this, they were like, all right, where are the f***ing girls? Enter a nice embroidered graphic hat and some f***ing sambas. Yeah, I bet that f***ing matcha didn't taste as good as you thought it was gonna taste, huh? I don't know what came first, by the way, the chicken or the egg. How long must you run before you face yourself, though?
Oh my God.
But even though these two current forms of streetwear are a far cry of the subcultural integration of times past, what is this really participating in? But this idea of building a unique style and not feeling stupid is inherently very healthy for the fashion community, which is why I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Rakuten, which is the biggest cashback site that partners with hundreds of the biggest brands and boutiques like Nike, Adidas, and even Mr. Porter, which is what I've been using to reference a lot of the clothes that I've shown in the past bit. If you ever thought anything was cool from this video so far, I found it on that website. And to activate the cashback, all you gotta do is go on the Rakuten website, find the store that you want to activate cashback on, like Mr. Porter right here, like I was talking about. Just click the link portal, it'll redirect you to the site from the Rakuten website, and bam, cashback is good to go. And that's pretty much it. I've been using it for over 9 years now, and I was in college before YouTube, and now I just use it whenever I online shop because everything adds up. For example, if I want to buy a shirt from Under Armour, I really like the long sleeves that they have. I would get 8% back on whatever I buy. And after that, you get your cash back sent to your PayPal and you can spend it on whatever you want. But now with my partnership with Rakuten, everyone who signs up using my link will get a $30 sign-up bonus with a qualifying purchase, which is easy. All you gotta do is just, do exactly what I just did and buy something through the Rakuten portal, and bam, you'll get $30 sent to your account that you can use on whatever you want. So go sign up for Rakuten. Everything is in the description. Get your $30 sign-up bonus. The next aesthetic we're going to explain, Y2K. So before attempting to explain the clothing decisions behind the idea of Y2K, we must first break down how the concept came to be. So the term Y2K, or year 2000, comes from the infamous urban legend of the Y2K bug, which was a conspiracy in the late 90s that when we cross over into the new millennia, the internal clocks of all these devices would go stupid, and then technology would take over the earth. I know this sounds dumb, but I totally get it. Like at the time, like when technology was like super like kind of mysterious and we don't really know how anything works, and you're like, yeah, dude, it's about to be 2000, like it's about to be crazy. And now we talk about our emotional problems with ChatGPT or some shit. We used to be scared of the clocks, and now Chrome and iCloud have enough personal information to literally just be you. Like they can just oh my god. But around this time we were seeing an exponential technological advancement in computing, which then granted infinitely more possibilities in the space of design. This then led to a boom in complex and futuristic 3D renderings, a reflection of our aspiration of what the future could look like. But we were kind of wrong about this, because now we're venting to ChatGPT. Like, it could have been this cool. But then this kind of art style, these eclectic elements and design cues eventually found their way to fashion trends, but also kind of as a rebellion against the preceding age of 90s minimalism. It was really just a reaction to how fast technology was moving. And now we ask ChatGPT if she likes me or not based on these texts. But today's interpolation of this Y2K idea is a lot more of a mixed bag, where instead of it being a product of a technological renaissance, it kind of just is anything kind of cute and retro and it's pink and small. It's kind of just weird and random. It's like Y2K. It's just like pink and small. Oh, it's just Y2K because like the shirt's really fucking small, and like my beanie's pink and small. Anything fucking pink and small. But like I was just talking about how like there's really nothing necessarily influencing this aesthetic per se, other than the idea that it used to be cool. And even though over the past couple years this craze has really cooled down, you still see a lot of design cues having a lasting effect of where fashion is moving forward. A la Boo Boo. Like, this is Y2K as fuck. Like, it's literally furry, pink, small, and cute, and random. All right, guys. The worst girl just invented a lifestyle. Quiet luxury. Which ironically, from the abundance of exposure and attention, it's probably not that f***ing quiet. But in terms of the actual clothing, fundamentally, I think it looks pretty good. Like, I still think there's a lot of game here, minus the, the stupid high concept Ouroboros class cosplay. It's it's an inside joke, but it's not, but it is, but it's not. Stemming from the idea of how a traditional sense of luxury would usually be very pronounced and opulent. Quiet luxury is the idea that you're overtly hiding your wealth through stealthier and quieter pieces, while those pieces still, in fact, financially are abhorrent. Pretty much financial sleeper build. Like the whole concept of this is kind of just, it's the bit, really, as opposed to actual style. Like the actual style is kind of just like minimalism in a weird way. But the actual clothes inherently have some pretty good ideas, like exceptional construction and high quality materials. God forbid a man want a well-constructed, high-quality pair of trousers. Or, the idea of playing with piece pairing and silhouette as opposed to relying on the crutch of graphics and over-accessorizing. It's pink and it's cute. It's Y2K because it's pink and it's... Look at it. So it's small, it's pink, and it's cute. Systems like the Row thrive on nuance and detail. I love this, Like these two, these are hilarious. Like, I just imagine the daintiest, classy, delicate woman wearing these on a hot new summer day in the 34th Street Herald Square subway station, just stepping on like subway goo. Like, what the f is this, But like, just wearing these out of spite because, the luxury is quiet. But the luxury is not gonna be so quiet when these dogs are barking for their life, But I don't know. I just think it's the funniest shit. These two, like, imagine someone wearing these and then you're walking and you step in some road tar. So for the most part, this is just minimalism with a cheeky little inside joke. I don't think anyone takes this too seriously also. I just can't imagine someone taking this too seriously. Like, I don't know who's really, unless you are taking this seriously, in which case, like, that's you, buddy. We're not laughing at you. We actually don't really give a shit about your little bit. Lastly, we have the aesthetic in the middle of its biggest stride right now. Indie sleaze, which, as proper as the name sounds, is honestly kind of a newer thing that's only existed in the past couple years, even though the era that it's referencing is over a decade old. So the name and the aesthetic and the visual identity really all stems from this Tumblr, sweaty club, house party, grimy photo type, flash photography, digital camera, messy makeup, sweaty. This spread. That's what it is. That's literally, this is the whole idea. I was in middle school when this was happening, and I remember, like me and my friends, my cool friends would take me to American Apparel and we would just geek out. And like, it was just V-necks and And I'm like, guys, I get it, I guess, But also, I was really fat at the time, too. So I'm like, I can't wear any of this. But, I get it. But for the most part, all the popular girls in my school were totally in on this. Which now I'm realizing, maybe it's just people trying to relive their glory days. But in terms of clothing, a lot of slim-fitting and skimpy clothing, just kind of indicative of what you'd see in a sweaty swamp house party underground rave situation club spread. Leather jackets, Vans, sunglasses. I can't lie, even though we're kind of looking at these old photos, these old Tumblr photos with a pair of rose tinted glasses on, it's still this looks like a vibe. And there's actually quite a big sonic parallel to this style, as we see an equal renaissance in terms of music for that late 2000s, early 2010s sound making a comeback. You will definitely hear it all over modern production with acts like the Snow Strippers, the Help, Too Hollis even, and with the mainstream being like obviously Charlie XCX's Brat, just creating this cultural wave that has just not stopped moving for some reason. And though I made a point of how modern aesthetics have little to no cultural substance, there's definitely a lot of related motion in the nightlife and live music scene when it comes to this aesthetic, which is kind of cool. But, only time will tell. If I had to do my spread right here, I think modern streetwear is a decent buy. Don't expect too many gains. Smart streetwear, I can see lasting for a bit, but evolving, I would say buy in, but be careful, don't hold too long. Quiet luxury, definitely something that is a wild card. Do your research on that before you spend any money. Y2K, definitely short this. Just because something's pink, small, and cute, I don't know, man. Doesn't have a lot of lasting utility in my opinion. And indie sleaze, it's on the rise right now. Buy now, but don't hold too long. It will reach its peak in a bit. That's my financial advice for this.